Welcome. This is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and I'm so excited for today. Today I'm going to give you an example, as promised, with pen and paper, about equity. Equity seems to be quite a buzz in the world of property investing, and I'll share with you. Equity can create cash flow. And if you're asking, what the heck is equity, Jen? I would like to say, somewhere below in this video, I will share with you a link of a video that I've done that was all around equity. And today, all I want to do is give a solid example written on the board. Because I know I'm very much a visual person, and I like to see things that are written on the board so that it can stick, and hence the idea. Equity is it's the difference between the value of the property and how much you owe on the property. So say, for example, Jenna, me, aka, or should I say you? Why not you? Because really, this is not about me, hey? What about you? What if your name is Tom? So Tom has been paying his bond for the last 10 years. Tom has paid his bond for the last 10 years, right? So now let's just give a quick explanation about this. When you go to the bank and you finance your property, you've been paying your bond, and when you pay your bond, it goes to the principal amount, meaning the amount of money that you actually borrowed. And let's say Tom borrowed 500,000 Rand, right? And this is called the principal amount. So Tom has been paying towards his principal amount, because the bank will also charge you interest. Okay, when the bank charges you interest, how do you think they make their money? Okay, right? And around this time, we know that interest is sitting at 7.25. So when you, like Tom, is paying his bond, which is 500,000, he's paying the principal amount and he's paying interest. There's a lot of other small little fees. I'm not going to break down the bond right now, because the aim is to break down equity. So Tom has been paying his money for the last 10 years. And for ease of numbers, don't hold my maths against me up, please, okay? So for ease of numbers, say for the last 10 years, Tom has been paying 500,000. He's been paying 5,000 per month to his bond. So the bank is going to take this 5,000 and pay part to the principal amount, part to the interest, and all the other bits. Sometimes there's insurance that's involved, yada, 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 right? Insurance and tax and those 25 things. Say those are the miscellaneous. I'm going to write miscellaneous, because sometimes miscellaneous. Sometimes I think I spelled it wrong. Yeah, I always call it miscellaneous so that I can remember. But I feel like I spelled it wrong. But if I spelled it wrong, will you forgive me? Could you forgive me? Please, please, pretty please. Anyway, so yeah, Tom has been paying 5,000 Rand towards his 500K bond monthly. He's not missed anything, and Tom has been paying this faithfully over the last 10 years. There is a significant amount of principal that's been paid, and your interest has been paid, and whatever other miscellaneous that the bank will take towards your bond, right? So once these different payments have been made, what I need you to remember, 10 years ago, Tom went to go and buy a property. This thing is dangling. I don't want it to make other noise. Okay. 10 years ago, Tom went to go and buy a property of 500,000. Say, for example, Tom has bought this property in Honeydew Ridge. Okay, that is an area in Johannesburg. So he's bought this property 10 years ago at 500,000. However, in this 10 years, there are so many different things that has happened to push up the price of property within the Honeydew Ridge area, that Tom has been paying his bond of 5,000 a month regularly over the last 10 years. So he's made some sort of damage towards this amount. But his house is no longer valued at 500,000 like it was valued at 500,000 10 years ago. Right now, say for example, Tom's house is now worth, because there's things like the pandemic that we are currently going through right now. There's things like crashes that happen. There's the recessions that happen. Think back to 2008 and what had happened, right? So there's so many different things that goes back to the fluctuating price of property, right? And so I want you to think about all of those things that literally conspire or transpire that actually increases and decreases over time the value of property. So nonetheless, right now, say within this 10 years, wonderful things have happened. Tom goes to the bank and says, knock, knock, bank. I would like to understand at market value, what is my house valued at? And say, for example, he went to the bank and they told him, then he called a real estate agent and the real estate agent says, oh, well, according to my valuation, right now in Honeydew Ridge, the 3-bed, 2-bath that was once worth 500,000 is now worth 800,000. Okay? So say that was the evaluation that was done. So it's not that all of a sudden Tom paid 300,000 extra for it to be valued at 800,000. Life has happened in this 10-year span, right? Tom has been paying his money faithfully in this 10-year span. The price of property has gone up in this 10-year span. And right now, it is 800,000 for what was once valued 10 years ago at 500,000, right? So now if we have to look at the grand scheme of life, it is now valued at 800,000, but Tom paid 500,000 for it. So what's the big deal with this 300,000? Right now, that is equity. Equity is the difference. I need you guys to get this, right? It is the difference of the value to how much you've owed. So the value at that time was 500,000. You paid it over 10 years, right? And you owe X amounts of money. So there'll be that equity, right? Because you've paid it during that time. But right now, because the market has valued your property at 800,000. And if we just, for want of a nice exercise, we say, well, if it's now valued at 800,000, I've kept my property well maintained, and I can sell it on market value, right? It's now worth 800,000. I could go to market with my well maintained property and sell it for 800,000, and I may make this 300,000, right? But now what else has been happening is that Tom has been chipping away at this 500,000. So if Tom decides, knock, knock, bank, I bought a house 10 years ago. I've been paying 5,000 bond towards this. It's paid towards the principal, interest, and other stuff that, the financing costs need. Right now, on market value, it's worth 800,000. If I sell my property at 800,000 because it's well maintained, I'll make a potential profit before tax of 300,000, before paying out anybody of 300,000. But now I don't want to do that. I want to add an extension to my property. And because I've got a huge yard and within the space that I live, I am allowed to build onto my property. Can I come and refinance and ask for some of this money? So they will look into the money here because you built up your equity in there. The market value has pushed it up even further. So how much will they now borrow to Tom? So Tom has now got this money that he can go in and tap into. But one caution I want to share with you before I end this particular video is, it's nice to know these different things. It's exciting to understand what is going on in the world of investing and understanding equity. But you need to have a deal on the table or have plans for that money. Have plans for that money that is coming to you, because the bank is going to borrow you not only this 300,000, but it's going to also borrow you money that you have been paying off from there. So it's going to be well over 300,000, right? It potentially, I'm not the bank, so I don't even want to give you, let me stay away from potentials. Let's put it this way. The bank is going to borrow you the money, the difference of the value, right? And then some. But you go to your bank and you find that out. You speak to a bond originator who can assist you through the process to find that out. Find that information out so that you can have it on the back burner. I want to encourage you, be very cautious. If you don't have a budget and a deal in place, you may just very well be tempted to go tap into that money and then go and buy something as ridiculous as a car because you've been meaning to buy a car for the longest time. Will the car put money back into your pocket? That, again, is a story for another day. I always use the example of Uber. If you buy a car to take you to work, it's taking money out of your pocket. But if you buy a car to put it on Uber, it's putting money into your pocket. So it's not so much what you buy, it is what you do with what you buy. So if you're wanting to get into property investing and you say to yourself, but I don't have money, potentially you could be like Tom. Potentially you could have this scenario. And I give this very high level example, but I implore you to have people around you, such as a bond originator. They'll be able to assist you and say to you, if we go in for refinancing, this is what we could do. If we go in to take out equity, this is what we could do. There are so many different things that you can do by explaining to that bond originator what it is that you are after. You're after your equity. You want to go in and say, hey bank, I've been building up this equity. The property value has accelerated. I know that I can potentially come and borrow more than 300,000 from you, and this is what I'm after. If you are after that, put a neat plan together, but I implore you, have a deal on the table. And if you say, Jen, what's the deal? Meaning a property investment opportunity. Because if you don't have a property investment opportunity, I can share with you this, if you are not disciplined enough, you will end up spending that money on the most stupid random thing, and then later on you'll sit with your face in your hand and ask, what the heck did I just do? Why did I do what I did, right? So if you are wanting to positively start a business or positively start your journey within property investing, have a plan so that when you get the money, you are able to finance that plan like yesterday, okay? One of the things I truly wish I could have done better. In 2014, I sold my 2-bed, 1-bath. I was just emotionally drained by everything that came with the particular property. What the tenants had put me through, I had a property on the 6th floor. But when I think back to, I bought the property, I think it must have been about 240,000, and I sold it just over 300,000. And because I was also paying a lot more towards the bond, when it came time to literally renovate that place, put a good lick of paint, a good type of paint, of course, and get it up to a nice standard, I spent as little as 10,000 Rand to do that, but I did not go into my pocket. I went into what was sitting in, what do we call it? I went into what we call the flexi bond, and I'd taken money out of the flexi bond because there was a lot more money paid into it, right? And I'd taken the 10,000 Rand out, and I'd also taken out bond payments equal to 6 months. So my plan at that time was, if I've got this money, I don't have tenants, I'm done with tenants, I'm over tenants, I want to bring this thing up to market value because it's the beginning of a new year. They moved out on the 31st of December. I gave them a 3-month notice period. They took every day of that 3 months and then moved out on the last day. And the reason I done that is just really to help them build towards deposit, and I shared that I was going to be selling the property. So literally in January, renovated the place, good lick of paint, fixed what was broken, and made sure that things were on functional level, and I had 6 months that I told myself, outside of the education that I know today, that I'm going to sell this property, and I did that. I sold my property on Gumtree. But when I look back, I think to myself, my gosh, I really paid over and above the money that I was paying towards my bond. I had a lot of money sitting in the flexi bond. So when the money paid, so when eventually the flat was sold, the money paid out, I had quite a sum of money. And when I think back, if I knew then what I know today, I wonder what I would do differently. But I'm thankful for the lesson of what I know today, that I can reflect back on yesterday to say, okay, so I may have done it differently. What else could I do today? And with that, I want to say, take your lessons in your stride. And where you are, you can learn from your lessons and literally accelerate what you do today. So this is Genevieve Stafford Jack. If you liked this video, I already know by now you've clicked on the like button. I want you to comment below and drop me a few ideas on what is it that you are after listening to, and I will try my best to put it into a 15 to 20 minute video, because I aim to have my videos less than 20 minutes so that you can learn quick, punchy lessons that can help you accelerate your growth. So I look forward to some of the ideas, but I promise you this much. There's so much that I've learned within property, and I've got awesome stuff lined up just for you so that you can grow in this journey called property investing. Take good care and see you in the next video.